whether you are actually able to drive on the, so whether you qualify, whether
So,
you.
so can I give this, my
So if we
personal,
can,
yeah.
no, and therefore I agree that technology can make it possible, it should.
No, but so I have a bigger problem there. So again, I don't think this is about technology and the government will also. I can almost, put your hand on your heart and tell me how many of you would, number one, promise not to break a traffic signal. Number two, when you get caught, honestly pay the fine rather than argue about some shit, some rule. मैंने signal नहीं देखा, वो actually orange था, things like that. So I think our problems, we can blame technology, academicians, commissioners, everybody. So I'm just saying, it needs, we wouldn't need us technology intervention if we intervened ourselves with our own children and our parents. Just saying.
I think, as all of us said, there's brilliant insights from both sides. But in fact, I tried, I had this very important question which you said. In fact, I was looking through all the sites to find, is there a national blueprint for smart cities? Now, the question is, why? I mean, we have the government will, we have everything. So, this is not, I'm not saying it's a blame game, but I'm just trying to understand, because since you're in academics. Now, how it happens in many of the countries is there's a very close interaction between the industry, the academia, and the government. And that's how the blueprint really comes into place in most cities. In fact, if you look at the way that BRTS runs, and if you take the Singapore, for example, we can't compare for sizes Singapore and India, but not just Singapore, if you take Europe, the way that the transportation information system runs is fabulous. I mean, it's simply superb, and it's so simple. I mean, there's no rocket science there. I mean, I know that all of us states can't get together. People can't get together. We just can't think alike. I mean, that's the beauty about this country. We have to take that as. But then, when you look at the blueprint part of it, I don't want to call it standardization. Maybe let's look at the principles of architecture.
Yes.
I mean, we got to agree upon it. There is absolutely no, as you were saying, there are brilliant thoughts. Why don't you just say, codify it and say, hey guys, come on, we all, that's it.
So, no, so therefore, so when we looked at smart cities, so when we looked at smart cities as a policy, a very good initiative, because so much of our focus has been on rural areas. But if we look at growing urbanization, we have to look at cities. And the focus of development also has to go to cities if 60% of your population is going to start living in those cities. But so when we looked the smart city model, we said, let there be competition, And therefore, each city, now if you look at the list of applications that they have come out with, they're very similar, because what else will you think of smartness other than traffic congestion management, other than smart parking? So there are these key applications in each area. Okay, so it was good as a brainstorming thing to have everyone come out, but then we needed to integrate and to say, have open architecture, and I'm not saying this, actually my point is, if this goes along, the private companies are the ones that will benefit the most, because we need them to deploy these, to develop these. But I think you're very right, we needed a national blueprint which emerged from the different cities.
In fact, my question was one step further. I mean, this is a valuable discussion. I'm sure that these kind of thoughts are there all over the country in many places, but in isolated islands. Now, the point is, in fact, believe me, if you simply follow security and what the government is doing cyber security, there are a tremendous amount of agencies, societies which are functioning under so many ministries, and all of them don't know what the other is doing. Now, I was surprised, there is something called as a National Security Standards, something exact, which is in Chennai. Not the equivalent of NIST, that's right. Now, it is a very good thing, but nobody knows about that. And the problem is, if you take the National Cyber Security Policy, is 2013. And if you look at that entire policy, not that the principle is not valid, but we needed to have really operationalized it and built it as part of, because as Varsha was saying, this is the first thing I got. Let us say the government gets a message, we shut down your entire traffic system, ransomware, pay so much. Yeah. Well, what do you do? Have we built all that into the system? Yeah. Or I was just thinking, just talking. Let us say you get an SMS saying that you say that my pipe gas system is not working, and then somebody, you call up a helpline and they say, no, you'll have to actually, shut down your mobile and start it all over again. You say, what's a mobile to do with my this? Because the API is not working. So now what do you do in those cases? So these are problems which are seeing happening in day-to-day lives with our internet banking systems and the mobile wallet systems and all that is happening. So if something like a city shuts down, like Estonia, I mean, we have a serious problem at hand. So are we looking at it? I mean, there is a will in the government, but how do we solve this problem? I mean, how do we take this dialogue forward and say, Isaca or as a university or whosoever, we go and whom to meet in the government? Because personally, I have this problem. Isaca guys come down there, they want to meet somebody, we don't know whom to meet.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, how do we bring this single point of contact on at least the principles of architecture, something to do with smart
Can I
cities?
just ask one question? How many people from the government in this?
Or government or semi-government?
Or semi-government?
Or ex-government?
No, ex-government doesn't help, right?
But ex-government can help.
They can, but current, I think we are how many people? About 200 people in this room? I see 2 people from the government. And when, huh? So maybe they were in some sessions, maybe you had 10, maybe you had 20. But I'm just saying that, if my numbers are wrong, maybe we had 10 or 20. Now, this kind of, deliberations that went on, partly it was in good collaborative spirit. It was nothing, I'm sure he had nothing. So what I'm trying to say is, if this kind of deliberations, people in the government are well-meaning. At the end of it, they also want to see things happening. And it is not that, they want to control everything or something. I don't think that's the feature today, dominant feature. So therefore, there is value. I'm not saying there's no value. All that I'm saying is that, yes, so can we at least, even ex-government with you, the number just rises by 1 more, right? Not by 10 or 15 or 20. So I'm saying I think the focus of our forums also has to be, how do we influence the government?
Can we
to
have the
change it?
offline?
Okay. Yeah, so I just want to make just few comments. I think academician has done her job by provoking us to think and creating, it stirred up everybody. And I think that's what the job of academic, to speak the truth and see the truth as it is. The business has put a business case how to make it happen. And I'm sure we'll all make it happen. Thank you, and I think we'll go for lunch. Yeah.